It's great to have Pastor Rusell Evans with us again from Planet Shakers, and he's already part of the family, so you know a lot about him. So that's why I want to ask about your experience with the Holy Spirit. Tell us about how was the baptism?
Well, I got baptized in the Holy Spirit when I was 8, you know, that was really powerful in my life, because when I was in my teens and I began to doubt whether God was real, if he was who my parents said he was, because I had this heavenly language and I had this encounter, I couldn't deny him. But all through my life, I have a hunger for him, because Jesus, Bible says that he's sitting at the right hand of the Father, and Father's in heaven, and the Holy Spirit is the one who represents them on earth. And so if we're really going to live the life that God called us to live, we're going to walk with him and let him guide us. The Bible said he'll be our counselor, our healer. He would be the one who leads us into all truth. He's the one who reveals Jesus. And so he's very important.
All right. So the Holy Spirit is very important in Planet Shakers.
Yeah.
So a lot of what's happening there is thanks to the Holy Spirit.
Everything that's happening is there. Because it's his move. You can have good music, you can have good lights, but without the touch of God, without the power of God, nothing changes.
Okay.
And I said to someone one day, I like dressing contemporary and stuff like that. That's why I got a stripe on my back. and you know, when my mum was dying of cancer, my swag or how I looked or how cool I looked couldn't do anything for her. But what I carried in the Holy Spirit, that's what can shift people's lives. And so Jesus did two things. He demonstrated, or he spoke the language of the day. He was relevant, he was cool, but he had power. And it's the Holy Spirit who brings the power side to our lives.
And your music, it's filled with the Holy Spirit. Tell us something about that.
Yeah, well, we welcome him, we honor him.
Yes.
It's his service.
Yeah.
You know, you think about a church service or any meeting, he's the conductor.
Yeah.
We just got to go where he goes, even with writing songs. Holy Spirit, what do you want us to say? What do you want people to have happen to their lives as they sing this song? And if it's a man-made thing, it'll touch their ears. People go, that was cool. But if it's God, he'll change their lives.
So that's why your music has touched so many lives, do you think, yeah?
Yeah, because we honored him in his presence.
Now, did you ever imagine producing so much music, or was that your dream when you were a kid, or why did you end up doing this?
No, it was never my dream. I was a musician. I was a good musician when I was younger. I'm not so good now. And I was into sport, and I actually didn't want to be a musician or a music director, because I didn't think that was that good. I felt God called me to preach. And I remember one time I was playing guitar when I was in Bible college, and people were trying to put me in a box of, you're going to be a great music director. But I felt God say, you're going to be a great preacher, right? And so I had a bit of insecurity, and I was playing guitar in this meeting, and the Spirit of God came on me, and I began a solo, and the power of God touched the room. I was in Bible college, and I thought, before the meeting I was hungry, so I'd go to a burger place while the preacher was preaching, come back for the altar call. So I get in my car, and the guy is Ray McCauley from South Africa, and he goes, get that guitarist back. He didn't know who I was, so go get him. And I'm like, what does he want? I'm hungry. And they said, he wants you inside. So I come inside, and he said, and he had a lot to do with Brian Houston in the early stages of Hillsong. And he said, there's music coming out of this nation called Hillsong. He said, but the next music that's going to come out is going to come out of you.
Wow.
And at the time, I thought he was saying I was going to be a music director, so I almost rejected it and went, no, I'm not doing that. But actually, when God called us to do Planet Shakers, and I'm a worshipper, worship became very much a part of what we do, and we are astounded at the doors that it opens up. We turn up to nations, and politicians say to us, oh, you're Planet Shakers, that's my kid's favorite worship, and it's opened doors to minister to people in the millions. And we just sit there and we go, it was never in the plan. The only thing that there was a desire to change people's lives. And I learned that God directs your steps.
Yes.
And now I'm happy to be a music director and a preacher.
Yes, yeah. And how did your wife ended up as a worship leader?
It was quite funny. It was our second year, I think it was Planet Shakers Conference, and I had someone leading worship, and Sam was serving at the back in the green room, made sandwiches, serving people. She wasn't looking for the stage. She was a great worshiper. She loved worship, and the Lord spoke to me and he said, next year Sam's going to be leading worship at Planet Shakers Conference.
Wow.
And I said, okay, sure. And she got up and she was great. And then she just developed, and I call her the secret sauce of Planet Shakers. When she turns up into a place, she knows how to open heaven. And she's I actually texted her the other day because I was watching it online. I said, you're my favorite worship leader on the planet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which is your favorite song of all the ones you've written or Planet Shakers has done?
That is because we've written hundreds of songs.
Yeah. But which one has kind of had a big impact in the world?
Well, Nothing's Impossible has had a massive impact.
Yes.
The anthem, which was written for an illustrated sermon I was doing, wasn't written for a worship song, but God breathed upon it, and that's touched millions of people. I love our praise. I really love our praise because praise opens up the atmosphere, opens people up. But there's intimate songs like I love your presence because I love his presence, and when he comes, it's just my favorite part of any worship service. I love the praise because praise opens up the atmosphere. I love the joy, but the thing I most love more than anything is when the awe of God settles in a room, and it's just like, wow, you're here. And that's my favorite part out of everything. And I understand all the other stuff gets you to that point. Yes. So when I look over a crowd and I just see people lost, I might be in a meeting and I'm like, God, what's the key? What's the key? And I'll see one person with tears running down their face, and that will be the moment for me that will go, you're on the right path. And that's why we do what we do. Yeah. I'm teary.
Oh, thank you.
You made me cry.
Thanks a lot.